Hi. All right. So we'll get into it. We're talking about the veil today and what that means, what that is. So when we hear of the veil, like I was saying before, we often think of it as like something, almost like a wall that is breaking down, which in a lot of ways that's true. However, the the fact that like some outside force is creating the wall to break down is not necessarily true. It's ourselves that are sort of peeling the layers off to become closer to truth and to source and to spirit and to other frequencies and dimensions and all of that jazz. So um, you can think of the veil as the ideas that we place on something. Humans love to label things, define things. We're always trying to figure something out. And we use the mind to do that most of the time. That's what science is. It's like trying to find the answer. When in reality, for most things, the answer is not concrete. It maybe almost everything is there's a little bird outside my window. He comes sometimes when I channel and do this work. But as we try to define things like gravity, this is set in stone, not necessarily true, right? Things over time start to unravel and reveal that like a lot of these things that we thought were true are not true. So there's a whole career, a whole slew of people trying to define something. Religion tries to define something. They love to think of the spirit as like a person who created all this. They try to define it, try to create the whole story, what happened. Even some spiritualists try to do that. Not necessarily true, right? There is no hard, concrete truth. And I think that's so uncomfortable and hard for people to understand and feel safe in. Because without those boundaries of truth, it's sort of like the Wild West. It's like the dark forest. You don't know where you're going. And that can feel scary. But when we start getting used to that, that's where the magic happens. That's where truth reveals itself. That's how you become close to it. That's how the veil lifts. When we stop labeling and thinking things as an idea of what they think they are versus actually experiencing what it is, that's the veil thinning. So years, thousands of years, there's been so much effort and work trying to define something. And now we're at a state where we're peeling it all back and trying to get close again to truth. Closer, which is nature is truth. Nature is pure. It just is. Anything that just is, that pure connection without the mind, that's truth. And once you define it, it changes it. It's no longer truth once the human mind becomes involved. So that's why any religion is in a way false, because it's made by a human. And if you have your own belief, you don't even need beliefs, your own experience, that is your religion. I mean, that is your faith. You can have faith, you can have trust, you can have love, all that stuff that religion has without all of the beliefs, all of the ideas of these hard, concrete ways that are no longer serving us and actually pull you farther away from truth. Now you're following somebody else's idea. And when you become and connect in with your own truth, with direct experience, without the mind labeling and defining, you are connected deeper than you were before and directly. So that is the trend. That's what we're heading. That's the veil lifting, is sort of these peeling away these ideas that were created by man that we just bought into without question, like, and that's not exactly serving us. Like, it begs to question anything man has created has really served. I mean, yeah, obviously there are like antibacterial soap has done wonders when you're dealing with surgery, and some surgeries have been wildly successful and helpful to prolong life, and cleanliness during childbirth. Those all things created by man and done are all amazing. But like defining things and what science has done in some ways isn't always helpful. Like we need to also, as we observe something, allow the space for change and like not concrete truth to exist, because that then becomes a false belief. Because anytime that we actually define this, like one person's success in a health journey might not be, and you do the exact same thing, might not exactly help the other person. So like truth is not necessarily concrete, it's changing. So not saying that anything humans have done have been completely unhelpful, but I think a lot of it has not been needed. We would have just as much as an amazing, fulfilled, loving life without a lot that science has given us or religion has given us or any type of societal norm has given us. I mean, debate, that's a whole nother topic. Like, I'm talking just, the positive aspects of the connection. I'm talking about like the connection to nature and spirit in a way, how science and religion and all these modern technologies has actually pulling us farther away from our own truth in spirit and connection to spirit. So yes, there are pros and cons to a lot of the things that man has created. I don't want to like hate on it or have a debate on that's not the point. The point is I'm bringing it back to the connection that we have to spirit, how that has taken us further away. Even though there are some great things, we also need to save room for the fluidity within these great things that have been created. So that's a different topic with man and creation. But so another symptom of the veil lifting, if you will, is like trying to get to the root of something and like what's the foundation. Like we are sensing and becoming more aware of how shaky some of these foundations are. Like, what was the intent? Was it built on profits? Like those things are shaking. What was the intent? Was it built on control? Those things are shaking. Specifically, things like religion, business, institutions, medical field, all of that stuff that was built and it sort of took a turn, let's say, to profit or like an ill intention. We are now wearing, but the root of it might have been good. Like, what's the root? Like, for example, religion. The root of religion is spirituality. It was so at some point more people were spiritual. They had that direct connection to spirit, and it was up for debate, and there was conversations. Nothing was concrete, and there was also like allowment to have that, like a true democracy. But then religion actually came and changed that. They tried to make it more simplified, more concrete, and if you didn't follow, you were actually like executed. So that's a form of control, and they needed the population to come in. So it's like we can sense that, and how religion is almost like taken the good from spirituality, rebranded it, and turned it into something that we now see is false. Like, it's just a rebrand. And if you go to the root and the good, like what we really cherish about religion, that's love, that's trust, that's faith in, I don't even know if faith is the right word, but trust that you are guided, trust that love, hold love in your heart for yourself too. Building that relationship that you have with love, with spirit, and then actually acting upon that every day of your life, not just one day a week. Like, I think those things are crumbling, and like the fascination with worshiping one person is, I mean, why does worshiping this person better than this person? Like there's no rhyme or reason to it anymore. Like, you guys are all trying to say the same thing, and it's rooted in spirituality, and it's arguing now over these things that man has defined. When you take the definitions away, what's there? It's the spirituality. So same thing can be applied to everything. Business, like, what's the core value? Like, there's so much of like, let me hop on this, trying to make money, and it's like, that doesn't last. That's not everlasting. What's the foundation? Are you offering like authenticity? Like, what's your background? Did you grow up in this? Do you have expertise in this to offer? Do you have passion? Do you actually have passion? Like, those are things I think business owners, we can feel now, and will crumble away if it was something that like you just jumped on because it was trending. Like, that's not for you, unfortunately. Like, that, it might have been a fun 6 months gig that you did, but like it fell away because the foundation isn't there. Institutions like schools, all that stuff, that like the initial intent is to educate and share education, share ideas, but when that becomes censored or controlled, the intent changes, right? So we're finding our way back to the foundational roots of like what we want, and like what's right, and what we value and feel is good, which is super subjective as well. So it's not meant to be like a one way. Like, it's hard for people to coexist with different truths, and that's also like a huge lesson for us to be able to hold right now. It's like, my truth is just as meaningful as the person next to me, even though they don't necessarily align. Like, how do we live in that space together? So yeah, that is the veil lifting. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and once again, wishing you just this grace on your journey. And if it resonates, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's okay.